Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day, and today's quote is going to come to you from yet another writer. We seem to be on a string here. Now again, I do these on the day of their birthday, as at least as far as we know, the day of their birthday. Today's we actually do know, but yesterday's was we quoted Dante for what is assumed to be his birthday, and the day before that we quoted Balzac for his birthday. Now today we're going to be quoting quite a different writer, and like first of all from an entirely different age, but a different writer in terms of the way that he's received popularly. Because today we're writing somebody who wrote one of everybody's favorite character, and that is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Today is Arthur Conan Doyle's birthday. Now, let me say this: if you don't know who he is, he's the guy that created Sherlock Holmes. So that's how you'll know him, is the guy that created Sherlock Holmes, if you don't already know much about him. Now, there's a lot to talk about with him. It's impossible to get all of it in. This dude is accomplished in many fields. He was an author, a physician. He played sports. I mean, he was like, this guy did a little bit of everything, and it's difficult. I mean, I say he did a little bit of everything, but he did literally everything he did very, very well. He spoke out all the time about his politics and things like that. But we're going to focus on one particular aspect of him. And the quotes, I think I'm going to give you two. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see where we have time for. But the quote will be about this topic, and so I'm going to dive into it here in a minute. But let's just review a few things about him. First of all, of course, he did create Sherlock Holmes and all the world around him. He was somebody that was I gotta say this. It was very much, how do you say it to be nice in today's world? He was very much an imperialist. Perhaps that's not the nicest way of saying it, but that's what he was. He was a man of his times, and so there are many scenarios and situations that if you look at and you read his writings and his books, especially the Holmes books, um, where he describes a character, the description, the way that he describes certain people of certain skin tones or certain ethnicities is not very favorable, right? As as an indigenous man, I can tell you that a term that he used commonly was savage, a term that also is used to describe me, and a term which I'm more than happy to have leveled at me. That being said, he did speak as a man of his times, and we need to understand that. I know that people in today's world want to look at some things like that and be like, oh my god, we gotta cancel him, he's fucking disgusting, how could he write that? Well, because that's how people talked back then. And I know that there's this weird like disconnect where people are like, well, they could have not talked like that. No, they it's not how it works. Could you not talk like the way you do? Could you not do the things you do in terms of asking for justice for people that were Victorian era writers? Well, obviously, you have a hard time not following suit, so why do you expect him to do that in a time when there was no reason to? I'm not saying that his particular takes on ethnicities and skin colors was great. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that's how people talked back then, and we need to be aware of that. We have to give a little bit of grace in that area, even though it can be, uncomfortable. Like there's some discomfort there that comes with it, but you gotta say, okay, well, that's how they talked, that's how they thought, that's not how we do it now, but that's how we did it then. And so that's important to understand when you're talking about this man and his writings. Now, the focus of this particular video from here on out will be on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's. Now, I've talked about this before, actually, when I did a video on Harry Houdini. I talked about Doyle before. Doyle was he would have fit in today's world perfectly. He was very, 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 very much into the popular movement all around everything that had to do with metaphysical stuff, spiritual stuff, like all of it. He was in that mindset. He was somebody that believed very strongly that once you, and this is actually one of his quotes, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but he something to the effect of, once you've ruled out the impossible, then everything else is possible. No matter how improbable something is, it's possible. He really did believe that. That's something that That was a Holmes line in one of his books, but it was something that he believed, and he believed that to the degree that he invested just a massive amount of money in propping up and supporting and getting the word of psychics and clairvoyants and all sorts of different types of people that we now have a better understanding are, they're not real. Like, we know that now, but back then it was all very mystical. He believed in fairies. He believed in all this stuff. This way that a lot of people today do. He believed in all of that. And the thing is that this is a man that was exceedingly wealthy in his time. And nothing ever came of it, right? Nothing ever got proven. As a matter of fact, his attempt to try to bring Harry Houdini into the fold and try to get him to like sign off and stand up and speak up for spiritualism backfired. And he and Houdini had been friends, but after he tried to bring him to a seance, supposedly, now this is still like up for debate. Some people say it happened, some people say it didn't. Supposedly, so that Houdini could talk to his mother, who had died recently, and Harry Houdini was bereft. Houdini was like, "What the fuck?" It always bothered him that the person that was holding the séance, when they appeared as his mother, made the sign of a cross. His mother was Jewish. She would never have done that. So that's where he recognized that it was all just a sham, and he went on a tirade. He went on the warpath against this particular way of being because he saw how it was taking advantage of people. Conan Doyle, which, by the way, his name isn't Conan Doyle. That's not one word. It's Arthur. Conan is his middle name, and Doyle. So you just call him Doyle if you want to. Doyle, he took offense to this. It really bothered him. It shook him to his core. He couldn't stand the fact that people didn't have this spiritual way of thinking. It was like, how can you not see it? Do you not see the world the way that it is? And I think that there's something there, right? Like, there's something that he was really close to that he just went a little over the edge, in my opinion. And that is the true beauty and magnificence and honestly magic of this world is one that can inspire awe to the point that it is difficult and sometimes even mind breaking, to the point where you start to believe in things that can't possibly be because you don't understand that what you're looking at in the natural world, in the real world, is just that fucking fantastic. And I do genuinely believe that that's how Arthur Conan Doyle reached where he was, where he became this stalwart that was always for this particular way of thinking. Now, that kind of did fall off a little bit here and there. It kind of waxed and waned, but for a good portion of his adult life, once he had money and could pour into it, he definitely believed in some of the most ludicrous nonsense that you can even imagine. Now, funny enough, the quote of the day is actually just going to be the one quote, I think. I think we're going to focus on that. And it's a strange one because considering what I just told you and what we know about him historically, it seems like he could have used this quote a little bit more. But I think that this was actually, and I'm not sure about this, but I think this was actually Sherlock Holmes saying this and not Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, once wrote, "Healthy skepticism is the basis of all accurate observation." Healthy skepticism is the basis of all accurate observation. I could not possibly agree more with this quote. I think that it's a very, very, very important statement, especially from somebody who literally created, somebody who is considered to be one of the greatest detectives of all time. This is everything. But the problem is, and this may be where we reach the understanding of Doyle, he was skeptical of everything, including facts. And that is fine to a certain point. But facts are facts for a reason. Truth is truth for a reason. And you have to find it and then use it as the benchmark for everything else. He didn't do that. He went past that. And perhaps that's where some of his, if you want to call them failings, happened. Happy birthday, either way, to Arthur Conan Doyle. To the rest of you, take care of yourself. Take care of others. I will talk to you soon.